The Earth's natural resources are very vital to the survival and development of humankind. However, the said resources are actually limited by our planet's capabilities to renew them. There are renewable resources, given that the utilization doesn't exceed regeneration, and non-renewable resources like fossil fuels and metal ores. Resource exploitation in general is the usage of the Earth's resources at the expense of the environment. Nowadays, these resources are consumed at a faster rate than their natural regeneration, which could eventually result to the depletion of these resources. The depletion of these resources will cause consequences that us humans will suffer if this issue is not taken correct actions ahead of time. Resources are there for us humans to consume. However, over time, humans have been exploiting the resources present in our environment. In return, there will be consequences or effects that follow the action of humans that have been doing. There will be effects to wildlife, and there will be impacts to the ecosystem. In ecology, resource exploitation describes one of the five main activities threatening global biodiversity. Ecologists use the phrase to refer to populations that are harvested at an unsustainable rate in relation to their inherent mortality rates and reproductive capacities. This can result in population extinction and potentially the extinction of an entire species. The trend of overexploitation still continues worldwide. In the current decimation of African wildlife for the bushmeat trade, in the harvest of wild birds for pets, and in global depletion of marine fisheries. These are the impacts of resource exploitation on wildlife. First is deforestation, or trees exploitation. 80% of the Earth's land animals and plants live in forests, and deforestation threatens the species including the orangutan, Sumatran tiger, and many species of birds. Removing trees deprives the forest of portions of its canopy, which blocks the sun's rays during the day and retains heat at night. That disruption leads to more extreme temperature swings that can be harmful to plants and animals. Next is mining, or minerals and geological materials exploitation. Mining processes can also have serious implications for the aquatic environment, as the clearing of vegetation, removal of soil, extraction of large quantities of water, disposal of waste through water systems often lead to soil erosion, increased sedimentation, load, and alteration of water courses. Acid drainage from mines is known to cause severe damage to the habitats of aquatic species and/or may bring about changes in the spawning grounds of fishes and habitats of aquatic species. Another resource exploitation that has impacts on wildlife is overfishing, or fish stock exploitation. Overfishing can have an adverse effect on marine biodiversity. Every single aquatic plant and animal has a role to play when it comes to balancing the ecology. In order to thrive, marine creatures require a certain kind of environment and nutrients for which they may be dependent on other organisms. Fishing can also wreak havoc and destroy the environment and marine ecology and completely disrupt the food chain. For example, herring is a vital prey species for the cod. Therefore, when herring is overfished and the cod population suffers as well. And this has a chain reaction on other species too. Therefore, it can be understood that if the food chain breaks at any level, it will have a domino effect on all the living organisms in the chain. There are also impacts of resource exploitation on the ecosystem. First is environmental degradation. Environmental degradation was not of a major concern in the past, until researchers revealed that broad biological species of our world do not have interdependent relationship and the degradation of some of these species may trigger a cascading event jeopardizing our living surroundings. Most natural resource exploitation are capable of destroying the ecological balance in the ecosystem, and due to this, that most habitats experience fragmentation and loss of biodiversity, eventually leading to incapability of sustaining other organisms. Next is the disruption of food web interactions. It is well understood that ecosystem balance should always be maintained. However, overexploitation obtains food in a way that other organisms competing for the same resources will have less resources to obtain for themselves. As such, when an ecosystem loses its apex predator, there will be a sudden increase in prey species populations, and these unchecked increase can also overexploit their own food resources until their numbers dwindle, possibly to the point of extinction.